Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There, we'll call the meeting to order there. Whereas there is a quorum of council present and the time is 6 p.m., be it resolved that this regular meeting be open for business and via Zoom, and that the minutes of the regular meeting of March the 10th, 2021 be approved. Can I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move it. Dale Rivers.
Dale will move it there. The seconder?
I'll
Pat
second,
Natchuk.
Kevin. Okay, go ahead, Pat.
Pat Natchuk,
Pat.
second. Pat
Pat.
Natchuk, second.
Going by order there. Kevin, for, against there,
I'm for.
and Edith,
For.
Pat,
I'm in favor.
Glenda,
In favor.
Cheryl,
In favor.
Dale,
In favor.
and I'm in favor. Motion carried. I'd like to welcome Edith Fairburn to our council there. She's taken a vacancy there that was happened there because of Susan Sonnenberg stepped down there. So welcome Edith there. And also like to thank the other people that put their names forward there to run for a councillor for this municipality. It shows that there's interest out there for people that want to get involved in this municipality. Does anybody have any conflict of interest there tonight there?
Pat Natchuk, no conflict.
Kevin Burke, I have no conflicts.
Cheryl has no conflict.
Dale Rivers, no conflict.
Glenda, no conflict.
Edith Fairburn, no conflict.
I do in regards to the delegation there, because I'm a proponent of one of the parcels of land, so I don't know what Kazi's going to be talking about there, but anyway, I'll declare a conflict of interest until I find out what's going on there. In regards to the two reports, did everybody get a chance to read it there? That he's going to be
Yes.
talking about there?
Yes, somewhat.
That engineer report to it says on the top there, the final McGregor report, is that the final? So that's a complete report there?
I believe
Yes,
so.
that's the last one there was, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Kazi, are you on the air?
Okay, am I on?
Yes, go ahead, Kazi there. I got a conflict there and Glenda will be taking charge of this section of the meeting there.
I understand.
Thank you,
Um,
Les.
I'm going to be speaking for probably 15 minutes, and Bucky is here as part of the delegation. He may have something to say. Okay?
Okay.
I asked the question, is the engineer firm that was hired to do the McGregor drain, are they considered a contractor to the municipality? And I said, I asked the question, what happens if the contractor makes a mistake in his report? What happens and council accepts those mistakes? Okay, so if you take a look at the Mammoth drain report, actually open up your maps that you were given on the McGregor drain, and it'll show you the watershed. And then look at the map that is included with the Mammoth drain. And you'll see that the Mammoth drain is roughly 1,600 acres. And the one in the McGregor drain report is approximately 400 acres, but labeled Mammoth drain 1980. That is deceiving the landowners and the taxpayers in the municipality. Does everybody see that before I continue? Does anybody
Yes.
have any questions why the watershed would be changed? Does
Nope.
anybody
No,
any
I have no questions, Glenda.
Do you see do you see what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Okay, well, okay, now go back to the Mammoth drain and find the specs in there for a drain F. Because drain F, if you look at the McGregor drain report, it took in drains D, E, and F from the Mammoth drain and included it in the McGregor drain. So you need to look in the manual for drain F specs and tell me what you find. You found it, Kevin?
I did.
You
Uh,
didn't find.
Just
you
a
didn't find
minute
it.
here.
You didn't find
Drain
drain
E.
F though.
Where's drain F?
There's no F.
There is no drain F. The only place drain F exists is on that map as a line. It was never dug, Kevin. It doesn't exist. It's like the Easter Bunny. It doesn't exist. Now, how did it end up in a report?
Okay, let's look back here.
They,
Patience here, folks. Just give me a sec.
I have a question, if that's okay. It's Edith Fairburn.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at the print offs, because I'm not great on seeing it online, there's 2 pages that both have a drain E on them. I hold them up here. Is that what we're,
those are the technical specs that the
Thank
engineer
you.
did in 1980.
thank you. So he just did drain E on a second sheet as well as including it underneath drain D.
There's 5 drains, but the engineer included a drain F, which would be the 6th drain, right? It doesn't exist. You're not going to find it in that report, and you're not going to find a benchmark for that drain. Bucky Krabs owns the property that drain, and he's sitting here, and he could come up here and tell you that drain was never dug. Something happened to the shovel back in 1980. Maybe Leslie could tell you, but he's declared conflict of interest. The shovel either broke down digging drain F or rolled over. I don't know what it was, but it was removed and it never came back.
Okay,
That's correct. On his property, there's a ditch about 200 feet long. That's how much of it was dug, and then they just washed it. That's why you have maps that show a drain F, but drain F doesn't exist in the report. Now, how many maps were you given? 2? Well, you got them in front of you. These maps
Yeah.
here.
yeah, that's it.
Last year, when I went to the township in September, because remember I went to council with the maps and I was denied showing you the maps before the vote? I had 3 maps. I was given 3 maps by Kim. The 3rd map shows no drain F. And I have it here, but you don't have it in front of you. And that's the only place the drain F exists, is on a map. It doesn't.
Okay, so what are you getting at, Kaz?
Why is it included in the report? The engineer says he included drains D, E, and F after studying the Mammoth drain report, but there is no F. So did he study the report or did he work off a map? That's what I'm asking. So
No
what
idea.
I'm saying is this report with the watershed shrunken down by 25%, including a drain that doesn't exist. This is deceiving you guys. Township council has been deceived by a contractor. I want you guys to get a hold of your lawyer, who I'm sure is Weaver Simmons, and find out what you can do about this. Because now you're basing our taxes on deceiving, right? So what's the term? This is going a lot further than a bad severance. Like, you guys are involved in something that's a lot bigger than anybody wants to get involved in. This report is errant, like, poke holes in it all you want. Dale, you're the one that wanted to see the maps before the vote. We were denied. That's what I wanted to talk about, the maps. That was last September. You remember, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you asked to see the maps and we were said, we're not here, or I was told, we're not here to discuss maps. We're here to vote on the bylaw. The engineer wants to be paid. He wants to be paid for this. The watershed has been reduced by 800 acres and drains that don't exist. Come on. So there it is. You got to get a hold of your lawyer and find out what the township can do because they've been deceived by a contractor. Plain and simple. This is inaccurate.
I'm going to ask Kevin Burke if he has any comments since he was the chair of our Court of Revision at the time of the McGregor drain.
Okay, I'd be happy to speak on that.
Thank you, Kevin.
All I can say, Kaz and fellow counselors, is that I understand there may be a mistake there with regards to drain F. I don't know the landscape, so I can't rule on that. And I mean, it's quite possible there's a mistake, but that doesn't mean that the whole engineering study is flawed and should be tossed out. I mean, we can approach K-Smart and request that they look at this, because that if that drain indeed does not exist. But I don't see how it's going to change the whole McGregor drain reassessment and whatnot.
Wouldn't have had to been done. All you have to do is do a severance. You didn't need to do all this, but this is what it's turned into. Every severance out there that's bad needs a drain. That's what I'm getting.
Well, there was more than one, and it dated back a ways. I mean, it's, again, unfortunately, there was administration maintenance that needed to be done here.
Would
And
if I had been allowed to show these maps at the vote, would it have changed the vote?
I doubt it.
No,
Yeah,
that's a question.
the engineer,
Kevin, that's a question for the Integrity Commissioner to ask, not Kaz Burns.
well, maybe.
Well,
But I mean, I'm sure the engineer would have had to answer for it. But
You
so
guys-
so
guys
now
should-
we're,
You guys should have been given all the reports.
what's that?
These guys, if K Smart, the engineer, is saying after studying the Mammoth drain, he's included all these things. Were you given the Mammoth drain report before you voted on the McGregor drain?
No,
No. Well, you weren't given the information to make a logical vote.
what you have to understand, Kaz, is that we're not engineers. We rely on the engineering services that we pay for. I don't know which way the water flows. I'm not going to go out there in rubber boots and start trekking around the drains to figure it all out. That's what we pay engineers for. Now, maybe there was a mistake made, maybe not.
I'm saying
Maybe
that-
the only mistake here is on the map.
The township has been deceived by a contractor. And you're gonna do
You can't
nothing-
say
You're
that.
gonna do nothing about that?
We can talk to them about it, but we're certainly not going to say, oh, well, you better do another whole study. And then we're going to have to bill a whole lot of people on the drain for it all over again. We're not going to do that.
Unreal.
Well, what's unreal? Come on.
Come on, there's mistakes all through this, Kevin.
Oh, well, come on. That's one mistake. That's a line on a map.
I'm going to interject at this time.
Okay.
And, we value everybody's opinions, but you can't go ahead and state something, in regards to saying it's a mistake or whatever. You're giving your facts and we really appreciate that. So we don't want to cost any more taxpayers money by trying to
No.
find out if this is correct or not. So I would please keep things in order and mind the tone of the conversation. We're taking all the information that you're giving us. And Kevin, you can proceed.
Okay. All I can say, Kaz, we ruled on the information we were given by the engineers. It was unanimous. There was a lot of confusion about who should pay for it, and we ruled that the people on the drain have to pay for it. We can't go to the taxpayers of the township and expect everybody to pay for the administration problems of that drain. And that's where it ended. There was an appeal to be made later. Nobody appealed it. You know,
Is there a time?
all I can say is that the Court of Revision's closed and we stand by our decision.
Okay,
Kathy?
Now, if you want to proceed with something, if you want to change the Drainage Act, then I suggest you go to the provincial MPP, Mr. Manta, and talk to him about it. The other option is with regard to the drain, and you know it yourself, it was discussed, it's to abandon the drain. And I would severely hate to see that because the little people are going to get lost in the shuffle on that. I know I live on a drain. It costs me money almost every year. And it's no fun, but it's my piece of the pie to take care of, and I pay for it.
I will send out some emails. Do you want to be CC'd on them, Kevin?
Sure.
Send me your email address. Bucky's
Okay.
got something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
He's got something to say.
Thank you, Kathy.
That's the second part. We're here representing the people that are being billed for the report. But if this is, we don't feel that we should be singled out to pay for this report. And I'm going to explain why. Nobody has backed the bus up quite far enough. When the McGregor property severance was done, the lots were severed. The drain in the severance and in the package to complete it all, the drain should have been allocated to those lots, each and every lot to the end.
Yeah.
Then the tax base for those lots would have changed. And from that day forth, any of the work that's done on the drain or would be divided in those lots as well as the rest of us. That did not happen. This only came to light when Constantine decided to put an addition. Their lawyer picked this up and said, whoa, we got a problem with the property severance here. Nobody allocated the drain to those lots. So then came up, how do we do this? Somebody came up with the idea of Section 76. So the reason for the Section 76 was to allocate, just to complete the McGregor property severance and allocate that drain to it and all the way through, including the last lot and the addition to that severance. Our question is, everybody's watching this. Why is it that there would have not been a 76 done if that property severance would have been done correctly? There's an inefficiency in the office, an incompleted property severance. So why, if you want to do the 76, that's your prerogative. But why are you making all the people to the north up on Highway 17 pay for a Section 76 when it would never have been done if there would be no 76, if the property severance had completed and the allocations had been done? So why are we paying to finish up that property severance? This is wrong, totally wrong. This should have went back, and we feel should have went through either errors and omissions, insurance to fix this. If it hadn't had the 76 done, okay, let the errors and omissions insurance pay for it because it's a mistake that was made. And I'm not naming people, think mistakes happen, but this was a mistake that was made. And it's not a mistake that has anything to do with Kaz Burns or myself or up the line. This was to fix the severance so Constantine's lots could go through. If it wouldn't have been for that, there would be none of this today. So we feel that we are really, really being fraudulently nailed for something that had nothing to do with us. All we're doing is we're paying to fix the severance. So the severance If it's a problem, it's a municipal problem, and it should be covered by the municipality. Not only covered by 15 people up the line who had zero to do with the McGregor property severance. And we stand firm on this. We're being hosed, we feel.
Comments, Kevin?
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
That's not true.
it doesn't only deal, let me talk here. It doesn't only deal with the Constantine severance. There were other severances 15 years back or so, or 11 years, I forget the exact time frame there, that were not accounted for in the drain as well.
Let me explain the
So now you've got, and I know you're to the north, that happened in the southern part of the drain, and they were separate drains. But the only way to fix this at this point, where you've got 3 or 4 omissions in drain participation there that were out of whack. So you reassess the drain. And it's not done by a guy, you know, driving around saying, well, this creek runs this way and that creek runs that way. Engineers do the study now. That's the only legal way to do it anymore.
I agree with you, Kevin, but I'm going to tell you something. Just listen. The Fisher Wavy severance, there was a problem with it. There was a problem with the McGregor severance. Those are problems that should have been handled in the office at the time of the severances. These have nothing to do with the drain, these are individual property deals. And all of the costs to those should have been allocated to the property severance. Same thing with the Fisher Wavy one. That was not complete. I talked with Jim Clark up there from Fisher Wavy, and he said that wasn't done right. They had to fix it. The McGregor severance wasn't done right. Had to fix it. So why are we having to pay to fix the inefficiencies out of the township office? There's nothing to do with the drain, nothing to do with anything else, nothing to do with the beavers, nothing to do with it. These are issues that were incompleted severances. So why are we paying for incompleted property severances? That's got zero to do with us.
I thought the only issue here was that the severances that were never made part of the drain.
That's correct. And they should have been. They weren't allocated to the drain, and which was part of the severance. Now,
And
if
so
if the,
a drain reassessment was required.
no, it should never have been required, because if the property severance was done correctly, when the lots were split, the drain should have been allocated to each one of those lots, and it never did happen. Then the tax base for those lots should have been based. So those people that own those lots haven't been paying the right taxes for over 10 years. But you cannot go back on those taxes. But if that severance, if that office had done that severance properly, had completed the complete severance, allocated the drains, there would be none of this happening today. Am I not right? Am I not right, Les?
Les is not allowed to comment as is a conflict of interest.
Nothing, there would be no issue if that property severance would have been done properly and completely completed. Constantine would have been able to do their deal, and there would be none of this today.
Unfortunately, what happened was that what you're saying did not happen. It wasn't done properly. So we, through the Court of Revision and the information that we received and the engineer's report, made our decision based on that. Any further comments, Kevin?
Now, that's the reason, okay, excuse me. This is the reason why that wasn't, you just admitted, the township office didn't do their job properly.
No, you're putting words in my mouth. I did not say that at all.
If it wasn't completed.
I said the information that we received. Do not put words in my mouth, please.
Okay, the township office, the bottom line is, the township administration did not complete the severance. When I say complete the severance, I mean, completed right to the tune of the lot allocations, the drain allocations on the lots. They did not do that. This is the reason for the 76. So why are all the ratepayers north of that drain paying to fix the township's inefficiencies and mistake? They forgot to do it. It's human nature, but you know, I forget a lot of things too, and more as I get older. But why are you penalizing the people north to fix the McGregor's property severance? That should be accepted by the municipality, and nobody likes it, but it should be coming out of, if they don't want to put it through errors, omissions, insurance, it should be coming out of the general revenue. It shouldn't
Kevin?
be, because it should not be, we should not be paying to fix the McGregor property severance or the Fisher Wadey property severance, because those are problems that were office problems, not drain problems.
You've stated that several times.
Yes.
I'm going to give Kevin the opportunity to comment on that.
Thank you, Glenda. All I can say is that, you know, we can move the clock back. We can move it back 30 years and say, well, you know, back then we were Spanish River Townships. We weren't Sables-Spanish River. And maybe this was done that way and that was done another way. You know what? None of us were there at the time. And so if mistakes were made, mistakes were made. I don't know if they were made or not, but there was if it had to do with the severance, it had to do with the severance. We're not talking about the severance. We're talking about drain allocation and the benefits that come with being part of that drain. And at times there's administration costs to a drain, not just backhoes and dump trucks, but there's administration costs. And so in this case, I mean, it blindsided a lot of us, and we've taken steps towards correcting that next time and giving people a heads up and maybe keeping tabs on the engineers a bit more. But this was an administration cost, and it has to be assessed to the people on the drain. We can't allocate it to all the ratepayers. They don't enjoy the benefits of that drain. That's how the Drainage Act works.
The only reason for this 76 was because the property severance wasn't done properly. When are you going to accept the fact that the township made a mistake, and because they made their mistake, accept it? Fix your mistake. Don't make us pay for your mistake.
I've said what I have to say on it. We're going back and forth here. We could go back and forth all night on, you know?
Yeah, and we're not going to accept this.
Well, you know, like I said, you have the option of organizing an abandonment of the drain, which I will lobby against because I don't believe it's in everybody's best interest. And you can approach your MPP and have them change the Drainage Act or work towards changing the Drainage Act, but we can't do that.
You are wrongly allocating the funds that it took to pay for that 76. Because what you're doing there is wrong, and you're making us pay for a problem to repair situations that had nothing to do with the drain at all. You're making us pay for that when that should be coming out of general revenue, out of over across the whole board.
So you're saying all the ratepayers in Sables-Spanish River townships should pay for the reassessment of the McGregor drain? That's what you're saying.
Because of the fact that the township office did not finish their job doing the property severance. It boils right back to the property severance is the problem. The rest of the drain, there's lots of inefficiencies, lots of things we don't agree with. Like drain F is supposed to be on my property. It doesn't even exist. But yet I'm being charged for my property draining through a drain that's not even there. So,
But
Okay,
wait one
I'm
moment.
going to say something here. I believe that we're starting to repeat ourselves over and over again. I really appreciate that you approached council, both Kazi and Bucky, with your concerns and your information and your facts. I'm going to have Kevin give one last comment. And I believe there's nothing more that we can say at this point in time. You know, I appreciate you coming to us with your information, and I'll hand it to you, Kevin,
can I make one
for the
request?
conclusion.
No.
I have one more thing to say about Drain F. Maybe it's not a ditch that's dug visibly, but maybe there is drainage under the ground. Like the engineers, it's not just about what you see anymore. You know, there's studies done, aerial studies. That's why we hire the engineers.
Can I make one request?
Oh, come on.
Yes,
I'm going to request on behalf of all of the ratepayers that the bylaw that charges those ratepayers that $16,000, which basically fixed up the McGregor property severance, be rescinded. And until further, we can do further investigation on it.
thank you for your request. I appreciate that, but I don't believe that unless you had a delegation that included all the people that you are including, I don't believe that we can validate that request at this time.
Why could I not request that, Kazi?
Because you have you don't have your other people that you are
Okay.
stating you're representing there to actually speak for themselves. And I believe that you know, just as you get to speak for yourself, everyone else does too. So I believe that we can conclude this discussion at this point in time. Kevin, do you have anything else to add?
No, all I can say is that I know there was a lot of bad feelings about this, but we handled it the best way we could. We
Which
were
was-
unanimous in our decision, and we stand firm on our decision.
Okay, so do we.
There's no way that I can, in good conscience, make everybody in the township pay for
For the township
for the reassessment of the McGregor drain.
because of
I'm
township
gonna-
office mistakes.
I
I'm gonna-
appreciate
I'm gonna
you
finish
coming
it
out, and I
there.
appreciate you providing the information. And I believe that we have done what we can with this delegation. Thank you very much, Kazi and Bucky, for bringing forth this information.
Thank you. And
If I may
Thanks,
just clarify to council that we knew what Mr. Burns was requesting to speak on tonight, and council was provided with the background information on that. If I had have been aware of what Mr. Krabs wanted to speak on, you would also have been given information on that.
I appreciate that, Kim.
That's fine.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kim.
I believe that's it for this portion of the delegation.
Yep, okay,
Am I
we'll
correct?
carry on with the
Okay.
meeting there.
Okay.
In regards to consent agenda there, has anybody got any concerns in regards to that there tonight? Okay, be it resolved that items A1 contained in the consent agenda be adopted there. Can I have a mover and a seconder?
Glenda, move it.
Cheryl, second.
Kevin, for or against?
I'm for.
Edith,
Or
Pat,
In favor?
Glenda,
For,
Cheryl,
In favor?
Dale,
In favor.
and I'm in favor. Motion carried. In regards to the federal gas tax transfer, has anybody got any concerns in regards to that there? Where the money's being transferred to pay for what?
No, looks good to me.
No, Glenda, I don't have any concerns at this time.
Okay, be it resolved that the treasurer be authorized to transfer the funds from the federal gas tax reserve fund to the general bank account as per the attached schedule as contained in the 2020 budget. A mover and a seconder?
Also move.
82nd.
Kevin, for or against?
For.
Edith?
4.
Pat?
Pat in favor?
Linda?
4,
Cheryl?
In favor?
Dale?
In favor.
And I'm in favor. Motion carried. In regards to the senior and youth awards there was only one senior that put his name or a name forward there. Has anybody got any concerns with the individual that was nominated?
Is it too late for nominations?
Kim,
That's
is
coun-
there, is it
That's
too
at,
late or what?
well, that's at council's discretion. We had advertised and asked them to be submitted, I believe, by April the 2nd.
Yes,
I,
that's correct.
it's Glenda, I think that we should probably extend that to at least the middle of May.
We have to have the senior one in by the end of April for it to be the provincial award.
Okay,
Well, 2 weeks gives it 2 weeks there to the next meeting there. Because I think there's other names there. The people there didn't have a chance there to see that everything's going on there now.
yes, I agree. The news is a little bit heavy, so, you know, maybe if we can put it out there again, we might get some other names.
The youth award there, there's lots of names there. Do you want to extend that or do you want to deal with that?
Well, if we're gonna extend it, we might as well extend it all.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll
Does
look at
everybody
it.
agree?
Yeah,
So-
I'm in agreement. We can look at it in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Les, what you're saying is we'll define it in 2 weeks at our next meeting then?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm in favor of that.
Glenda's in favor.
So if you know anybody there that's that wants to put somebody's name forward there, they got 2 weeks there to put it in there. Because right now there's some good candidates there and the names we got there for youth there. In regards to the integrity commissioner there, anybody got any concerns there? Discussion
Sounds
there?
like, sounds like we have no choice. The man's retiring.
Yes, I do. I totally agree.
but I mean, it looks like we were making a good choice looking at Gallagher Consulting.
Well, it's the same group, right? It's just renamed.
No, but the guy
No.
we,
Oh, it's a different organization.
yeah, and
It's the same company. They were just renamed from Debrina to Gallagher within the last year or
Yes.
so.
oh, okay.
Yes, it's the same company.
Yeah,
Okay, so you'll have a resolution there for next meeting there, Kim?
I have a bylaw for the end of this meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
Great.
Medical clinic there, that noise problem there, this been going on for years there and they changed the front. With the quote that we got, is that going to rectify that noise completely, Kim? Do you know?
Well, he told me that it's going to do some good. He said that what he didn't include in his proposal was that they will also fit the pipe with a tracer heating cable and a thermostat, plus pipe insulation to prevent condensation, freezing, ice buildup inside the pipeline. And that's all included in the quote. But the way that they're proposing to project the pipe, it should be making a difference.
it looks like a good solution. I mean, the guy was next door doing an installation at the DSAB ambulance garage, and he actually went over and had a look at it, and he said right away, he said the size of the the size of the, I don't, maybe you call it exhaust pipe, whatever you want to call it, was way too small. It was undersized. And I've also spoken to other people that have systems like that, and I don't know how we wound up with that size of pipe, but it's not common. And I think that this will probably solve the problem. I hope so.
It's worth a
As
try
long as it
anyway.
sol-
Yeah.
As long as it solves the problem, but if $5,000 solved it there, there'd be no noise at all, it'd be better to have a system there. We're gonna work at it once more. So that's what I'm
Well-
wondering, if that $2,500 is gonna solve the problem once and for all.
Wow, what do you propose? Putting in a
Well,
whole
we-
new system?
We we had the company in there once already there, they put it in there to try to rectify it and they couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So now
well, they're no longer in business though. This is
Oh,
a
I
different,
understand.
yeah.
I understand that, but taxpayers' money went into it the first time.
Well, I agree, but I mean, if this company figures they can rectify it for $2,500, then why not try it? Like, I mean, there's no guarantee there, and I'm sure they will not guarantee that it'll be perfect, but I'm sure it won't be as noisy. If it continues to irritate the people in the neighborhood, least not the clinic staff, then we'll have to deal with it again. There's no other way to do it. We can try with a quick fix here, and it looked like the technician figured that would resolve most of the problem.
Could I say something, please?
Again, there's no guarantee. So, Dale?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. We spoke about this over the last few meetings, and I thought Kevin's
Yep.
idea of rerouting that blow off or exhaust pipe out the back made a whole bunch of sense.
That's gonna complicate things though. Then they would have to relocate the system on the other side of the basement of the clinic, because they can't just follow the perimeter of the house back with the pipe because there's a doorway on the side. So, you know,
Okay, that seemed like the best fix because it was just going to go into the bush lot behind.
yeah, because that's where it's set up for the ambulance garage as well. It vents out the back, so I don't
Okay,
know.
and then you said it was an
Maybe-
oddball size of exhaust pipe, Kevin. Is that what I understood?
It's too small. It's
So
way
shouldn't we
too
just get it
small.
in large then and put it in?
That's what he proposes.
He's-
That's what his proposal says. They're going to
Yeah.
enlarge the pipe, and they're going to put two separate mufflers on it, and they figure that should resolve the issue.
Yeah.
So
Have
now,
to do something.
that being said, once it's done, if it's not acceptable, it's not going to be worse. You know, I can't see it. It's going to make some kind of improvement, but if it's still driving the people in the neighborhood and the clinic staff crazy, well, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Well, the larger pipe's going to accommodate the volume much better, so that
Yes.
should be a win-win. Before the insulation's put on, it should be a win.
Yes.
But if it was only another 1,000 or so to reroute it to the back of the building there, we'd solve the problem once and for all.
Again, there's the question of that doorway on the side.
Yeah.
The
And I mean,
logistics are not good.
let's face it, the longer the run of pipe we put on there, the noisier it's going to get as well.
Exactly.
And I
So,
have to say, the larger the pipe, the actual sound dynamics will change, and a lower sound frequency will bother people less. You know, you have to look at that as well. It's, you know, the frequency of the noise that it creates is in conjunction with the size of the pipe as well.
I mean, yes, 2,500 is not a pittance there to have it modified to try to do something. It's not $1,000, but what's it going to cost us to relocate the whole system, and you know, if they can even relocate that system?
My concern with that is if they try to do that, we might end up with more deficiencies as
Well,
we
sure.
move along.
Sure. And who knows what it's gonna cost us in the end?
Yes.
So $2,500 is a bit of money, but it might do the trick.
Well, and this should be the end. I mean, if we're gonna spend 25, that's it. This should be over and done with, and we're done. We move on.
Well, we hope.
In the
But if
perfect
it-
world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
the
hope.
contractor sounds pretty confident though, that
He
this
did.
will
did.
decrease the noise level.
I
Quite a
agree,
bit.
Cheryl.
So I think it's worth a try for sure, even though the rug does look very pretty on the pipe. If nobody's seen it, they wrapped a rug around it to keep
Yeah,
the
well, you
noise
should,
level down.
you should talk to Dr. Garland. It drives them absolutely crazy.
I
So,
think it's the
Okay,
decibels
there's the
or whatever.
resolution here. Be it resolved that the proposal from Midi-Air Radon Mitigation Service in the amount of $2,530 be accepted to address the noise of the installed radon depressurization system at the Massey Medical Clinic. Mover and a seconder.
I will make that motion, Kevin.
Glenda will second
Dale
it.
or Kevin will move it there.
Yes,
Glenda second it.
Okay, Kevin, you're for it.
I am in favor, yes.
Edith,
In favor?
Pat,
Pat in favor?
Glenda,
In favor.
Cheryl,
In favor?
and Dale.
In favor?
Motion carried.
Do we have access to a
Okay.
decibel meter of any kind? Maybe we should do a before and after.
That
Well,
sounds like a
that's
good
definitely-
idea, actually.
That's a thought.
Well, all you gotta do is talk to the neighbors. They'll tell you if it's better or worse, sir.
That's what I'm thinking, the same thing.
Yeah, it goes right, the noise goes right over to Low Street there, so you're one street away from the,
That far, eh? Wow.
well, it's a hum there at night there.
Yeah, I believe it.
Well, again, I said, the decibel and the tone level could change and that could be helpful,
Well, let's hope.
Okay, in regards to the bylaws there, be it resolved that the following bylaws be read a first and second time. Bylaw 2021-18 being a bylaw to enter into a fire safety grant transfer payment agreement. Bylaw 2021-19 being a bylaw to establish a schedule for user fees. Bylaw 2021-20 being a bylaw to appoint an integrity commissioner for the township of Sables-Spanish Rivers. Anybody got any concerns in regards to any of them three bylaws?
No.
Can I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move. Glenda?
Edie, I'll
Pat.
second.
Pat, was that you or Edith?
No, Edith,
Okay. Kevin, you're for or against?
I'm for.
Edith,
Or
Pat,
Pat in favor?
Glenda,
In favor.
Cheryl,
In favor?
Dale,
In favor?
and I'm in favor. Motion carried. Okay, be it resolved, the following bylaws be read a third and final time, passed in open council. Bylaw 2021-18 being a bylaw to enter into a fire safety grant transfer payment agreement. Bylaw 2021-19 being a bylaw to establish a schedule of user fees. Bylaw 2021-20 being a bylaw to appoint an integrity commissioner for the township of Sables-Spanish River. Mover and a seconder.
Pat will move.
I'll second, Kevin.
Kevin will second. Kevin, you're for it?
I am.
Edith,
or
Pat,
Pat in favor?
Glenda,
Glenda in favor.
Cheryl,
In favor?
Dale,
In favor?
and I'm in favor. Motion carried. Has anybody got anything else they want to bring up there tonight at the meeting there?
I do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pat, go ahead.
Okay,
That's fine.
I've lost my page here. Go ahead, Glenda.
Okay, I've had some calls in regards to concerns about some vehicles being parked on the roadways in Webwood and some property standard issues. I'm just wondering if we will be getting a report at some point from our bylaw person in regards to any progress that's been made with his hiring.
He will be providing another report shortly. He waits until usually the middle of the month for the previous month to give it. I don't believe that his reports are going to be very specific with regards to personal information, but
Yes.
just like the one he provided, it will give you some information on what he is working with. He has been quite busy.
Yes, I can imagine. The other thing, a couple ratepayers approached me in regards to how they would report a complaint. I was just wondering if we could put that on our website. I don't know if it's clear enough. It doesn't seem to be for them who is allowed to file a complaint and how they would do it.
Sure, we'll make it more visible on the homepage.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Pat, you had something?
Yes, with regards to the turnoff lanes that we're going to be receiving the new lanes on Highway 17 to turn off onto our side roads, do we have the specs for those, the lengths of those lanes in the paperwork that the Highway Department has provided for us?
No, we don't have any plans like that.
Is there any way we can request something, some information about how long those new lanes? I know we definitely requested a longer lane at Goltz Road because of the 3-lane traffic area there. And I was wondering if there's any way we can find out any information, if they're planning on making that lane longer or the other lanes longer. We had to fight pretty hard when we had to get the Birch Lake East Road turnoff extended. They had to come back and redo it, so just wondering if there's some way we can get some information.
Okay, I'll follow up with our MTO contact on the project.
Thank you, Kim.
Kim, it
I
should
have a-
be designed the same as when you coming out of Spanish there at Waterfalls there. There's a passing lane there, an off take lane there, so it should be designed the same way, you'd hope.
I believe it would be nice to have some kind of vague confirmation regarding that, just so that we're not surprised.
Like the west end turn into Walford, you have like very short turning lane.
Yeah,
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's a little scary sometimes, but
Maybe we should petition the MTO to take a look at that.
I thought they would have standards of how long they had to make them, but apparently not, because they're all different lengths. The turning lanes, I don't know why.
well, it's almost like somebody has to get killed at an intersection before we get any work done properly.
Yeah, sadly,
well.
eh?
Heaven forbid.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Anybody got any other concerns?
I've
do.
had, okay, go ahead, Dale.
No, you go ahead, Kevin.
I've had speeding complaints about River Street. It never ends there. Where
What
are
about
we
it?
on, where are we on getting that speedometer?
A couple digital, you mean solar powered digital speed?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yep.
thought we were moving ahead on that.
Well, they're in the budget waiting to be passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, next week, I guess. I had something else as well. Oh, any luck? Well, with the stay-at-home order, I guess not. Any luck on doing something for the internet in the Sadowski room? For
Yeah,
when
he's
we
got
return?
it done.
He got it done?
Yeah, he sent an email that they put the new modem in upstairs.
Okay,
Oh, I didn't
great.
get
So
that.
it should be better, I hope.
Okay, okay. Well, that's one step closer to streaming streaming our meetings. Although I find this situation works great, to be honest. as opposed to having a camera filming the council table. I don't know. I guess I'm used to Zoom and I like it. You're looking everybody in the eye.
I
You
don't
know?
mind that. I have two
No.
devices going. I have one with
Yeah.
all my information and
Well,
I
so
have
do I.
another one for my camera. So I think it's very appropriate in this time.
Yeah. Everybody who's participating is identified, although I'd kind of like to know who R and C is there. But no, I like it. I think we should work towards the Zoom option. But whatever.
It's Cheryl. I just have a question for Edie. Are you aware they're looking for a postmaster in Webwood?
I am aware.
So we got a flyer here in Walford today in the mail, and it sounds like the post office might have to be moved into a different location. So yeah,
Yeah.
that means if no one takes it, you will get community mailboxes. I'm just making you aware. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they don't want it in the store anymore, I'm
I'm
assuming.
thinking, yeah, the new owners, when they sold, they wanted it kind of, they gave the, I think until September or something.
Yeah,
Can't remember when.
so if anybody knows of anyone in Webwood that wants to have a little storefront for a post office.
Well, I would
There are
imagine.
regulations, but
Yeah.
it is
I would
open up.
imagine Canada Post would pay well as well.
No,
No.
No, no.
no, they don't.
Cheryl knows.
Okay. Yeah, I read
Not
all.
when
I
it's
read.
in- Not when it's in a private home.
Mhm.
I read all that into that ad as well. It's like,
Yeah.
they don't want it
so-
there anymore. They're gonna get stuck with community mailboxes. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe someone will come forward and do it.
Well, I hope so. I mean,
I
it's
hope
nice to
so.
have a little, I don't know about,
And so one other question, where is Linda in all of this? Is Linda retiring from the post office situation as well?
I haven't had a chance to chat with her as to what her plans are, but I'm not too sure. I'm guessing
Yeah.
she had told me she thought she was good till September.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was just gonna go from there, so
Mhm.
Well, I guess it all depends on the situation with the
yeah.
location. So,
Yeah.
well,
well,
let's hope
hopefully someone steps forward.
Well,
yeah.
I guess there was quite a few specs required. Somebody else had looked into it too, and so we might just be walking to get our mail at our community mailboxes and
Yeah, they don't make it easy to get one.
No.
So not like in the old days, it was kind
Yeah.
of like they dumped it on your doorstep and here you go, it's all yours. Now it's a
Still-
little bit more.
Still get it at the end of my driveway and I love it.
yeah.
Dale, have you got a concern there tonight?
Yeah, I got a couple things I wanted to say, Les, if everybody's done. I took a ride to Espanola on the highway and I returned by Lee Valley Road and I see they've got all those construction starts and end signs. I did
Yeah.
speak with one of the bosses from Ecom and they're full speed ahead right now. And I was just wondering, with all the bicycle traffic I see at this end, people, I mean, there's been bikes out here for years, but it seems more so with the COVID. And with all the horses and buggies on the back road, I'm just concerned safety wise. I'm wondering if we shouldn't put a little bit more signage up on Lee Valley Road to make some of these transients that are going to be going around through Lee Valley Road versus the highway, just let them, just so that they're aware that there's horses, buggies, and bicycles.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that. We don't have enough of those signs on Lee Valley Road. There's a lot of horse and buggy traffic, and in the summer, dozens of long I don't know how I would say that, but they're
Trains of buggies.
traveling on their bicycles, you know.
Convoys.
It's like
wouldn't hurt.
caravans.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a caravan of horse and buggies and then the caravan of bicycles. So yeah.
And
What,
I do see,
what would it cost us to throw, maybe a dozen signs up or half a dozen signs up?
I just think if we approached it now, we could have those signs ordered and in place before the rush. And again, it's the same with the bicycles, but I mean, I witnessed people passing horse and buggies yesterday, and it was embarrassing to watch the way they were doing it. So
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the shoulders as well. And I know that between the Spanish River Bridge and the Mennonite School on the north side, while you're heading west, there isn't much of a shoulder there, and there's quite a drop off where it washed out years ago. I'm just wondering if we shouldn't maybe get a little bit more of a wider shoulder there, so these people have an opportunity to get a little bit off the road without falling over that bank when the tractor trailers and everything else start rolling through here, because I'm guessing that it's going to be quite an episode once it starts, once they have that highway ripped up.
I
So-
agree, Dale. You know, there's several times where I've witnessed buggies going in the ditch, and that is not pleasant. The horses get spooked. Traffic is too close or too fast. We really need to have some signage up.
Yeah,
Okay,
good idea, Dale.
thank you. And then there's one last thing. I heard Harold Crabb speak about an errors and omissions insurance, and if that's something that we have, should we maybe look into it at least to do the diligence at our end, because the ratepayers do have some concerns, and if that's something that we can escape some costs with, or perhaps at least endeavor, I'd like to see us look into it if possible, please. And that's regarding the McGregor drain, of course.
There's no harm in it.
Well, it's nice to know what kind of coverage we have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, then
We have the,
It
we have
doesn't,
the coverage. Is council directing to put a claim in for that?
I guess
think
what
we
I
need
was
a little bit more
hoping,
discussion on that.
well, I just
I
was
would think
wondering,
so.
yeah, and I brought it up because I don't know the parameters of it, and when he brought it up, it just sparked my interest. If this is something that we can take some of this discomfort away and have a happier community, then I'd like to see us look into this.
I agree. I think that we should at least look into it and discuss it. You know, by bringing it up, that was a good point, but we have to research it a little bit and see where it brings us before we make a decision on that.
When I read the
I
report,
agree.
like I know there was, I'm not very familiar with the severances and stuff that have occurred before, but he seemed quite upset about this drain F. And when I read through it, there was no written references to this drain that really upset him. So I don't know if I missed something or if anybody else is, like, I did read the whole thing, and nowhere is there any severance or damages allocated to F. So I know that was a big concern to him. I don't know if anybody speaks to him in any other way, but it didn't see like drain F, though it was on the map. It wasn't, it didn't seem to be allocated anywhere in the report as causing a cost to any of the people.
I agree.
I don't think
we
the change
went-
is due to that. You know, whether F is there or not, whether it's above ground or below ground,
But
I
there's
don't
no
think it,
charges to
I don't think it changes the entire
Yeah, okay.
drain study. The big complaint here was that it cost people money. And
Right.
again, why should we be making people that live all over the township pay for this?
Right.
Why should people in
Exactly.
Webwood be paying for that? The
Right.
people on the drain have to pay to maintain the drain, whether it's shovels and ditches or administration.
Yeah.
I
And-
don't know if you're aware, Edie, but the last visitation of the drain was over 50 years ago. And, you know, so at that time it was walking the drain, different things like that. So, you know, and then with the severances and stuff that continued on, it, you know, things could happen, definitely. So I think we just have to kind of leave it where it is and look at our insurance aspect of it and see where we can go with that, you know, because we could argue about this for probably a year or more, you know.
I had just personally gotten confused because he's saying F and then I'm like, I see it on the map, but when I was reading.
That could be an underground spring, it could be a ditch, it could be,
It could
yeah.
very well.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, there
Yeah.
wasn't an expense to it and nobody was charged.
That's right.
for F, and I thought,
Right.
okay, maybe I'm missing it wrong. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Well, I think the whole idea there was to show that the study was flawed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what it was all about. And
Okay.
so the logic there was that it's flawed, throw it out. We've been defrauded.
Okay,
It's
that's,
like
yeah, I thought it was quite, okay.
there's some unhappy people there, but you
Right.
can't please everybody all the time.
And they have a right to their opinions, and
Yes,
you know,
they
their
do.
opinions, we validated the opinions, but that doesn't necessarily mean the outcome was what their liking was. So, you know, you just have to, you know, respect them and respect their opinions and let them, and let everybody say what they need to say. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I just have one more thing before closing. I just, I guess on behalf of the whole council, wish Edith an enjoyable existence with us for the last remaining year and a half of council time. Welcome aboard, Edith, and if any of us can be of help, we will certainly make our best effort to help.
Thank you very much. That I was waiting to the end to see if I could ask about the drain F, because I did read it all and I'm thinking, am I missing something? But I wasn't missing anything. It was just,
No.
it was very emotional for them. And
Exactly.
and I think that you know, Dale had a great idea, you know, if there's any way to alleviate some costs from them, then they would feel much justified and much, you know.
Well,
Right.
I appreciate that you're on board, and this position, you have to be very impartial and listen
Yeah.
and gain knowledge and respect, whether you agree or disagree. And the most important thing is we have to follow our directions, and we hired an engineer, and, you know, we have to trust that they're doing their job and so on and so forth. So I'm happy to have you aboard, and
I'm going to say one last thing on the whole drain thing. People say, it's never going to end. People say, oh, well, the township should pay for that. It was a township mistake. And this, but people forget the township is all the ratepayers. It's not just an
Exactly.
office with 5 people in it.
Yeah.
And we're all, and everybody that pays taxes in the township has to answer for that.
Yes.
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 There are cases when, yes, it should be costed to all the ratepayers, and there are times when it's not. So,
Yeah.
and this insurance thing, you know, it's like somebody puts a culvert in. Well, the culvert lets go. You know, there's nothing you can do. We're going to go and claim insurance every time something costs something and somebody has an issue with it.
Right.
I think that's a slippery slope.
Yes, that's why I say we needed to have, you know, a discussion outside of this meeting into the next meeting where we can actually look at it and see if it's plausible or not, because that point was brought up by the delegation. And, you know, we have to validate their opinions, and we have to discuss it and then make a decision. So I think that's important to do, you know.
Again, welcome, Edith, and welcome to all our Zoom participants tonight.
Yes.
It's,
I thought of one more thing I'd like. Sorry, Kevin, I cut you off.
We're going in a new direction here. People are participating from home, and
I really like that.
it's great to see. Yeah. Go ahead, Dale.
I just wanted to give our staff at the office some compliments over the cleanup days flyer that everybody received. I've had some very good feedback, and there's some people quite happy about the 2 weekend options. So there, everybody's got an awareness of it very much earlier than the days proposed. So everything should be good. 10 to 4 p.m. should cover it very well. So thanks for that.
I'll just expand on that a little bit since we're on that topic, but I had a conversation with a Massey resident today who, as part of a larger group, would like to do a Massey cleanup like used to happen when the Interchurch Council had organized this event. They were hoping to maybe do it within the next week or so if they could get organized, and wanted to know if the township could assist like we normally would have. And that assistance included just providing some gloves, vests, garbage bags, and then having Public Works go and pick up the full bags on the roadsides. They're looking at possibly doing it during the week this year, which would be a great benefit for Public Works to be out and about and able to pick up. So I just wanted to give council that update because it may happen before the next council meeting.
Excellent.
Are they,
Excellent.
are they gonna go into Webwood as well?
It was just a Massey resident that called today.
Okay,
Maybe I'll have to do a little something then.
You can throw the word out there, Edith. and
Yeah,
say,
I'm
oh,
making
by
notes.
the way.
I'm making notes right now, yes.
I hate to say the nasty word, but just a gentle reminder to all these people that want to help out and stuff, that we do have the lovely COVID precautions that we have to adhere to. You know,
Yeah,
it's very, very important.
exactly.
Those variants are very, 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 very transmissible, and there's cases popping up like crazy. So I love that we have community participation in making our towns and township beautiful, but we really still have to be very mindful of what we're doing.
Mhm.
I got something else to add to that. I see in other communities, what they're actually using to pick up garbage is those reach extenders that you would get. It's almost I won't say a medical device, but my concern is I don't want to see somebody get stabbed with a syringe, for instance.
Mhm.
I'm just
Exactly.
wondering if we couldn't maybe accommodate, I don't believe they're very expensive. I don't think they're dollar store items, but I don't want to see somebody go out with good intentions and end up hurt.
My other concern is we're in a lockdown.
Yeah.
So is it possible to have that kind of event during a lockdown? I would really advise checking with Sudbury Health and Public Health and districts. Honestly, you know, they're going crazy. They've canceled meetings because of the contact tracing that they've had to do. It's just astronomically crazy there with the contact tracing from all the things. So I have concerns about gatherings. Maybe, you know, it could be like a virtual drive-by pickup and whatever kind of thing. But again, like I say, the province has indicated that we're in a lockdown. So I don't really think it would be a safe thing to do until we're out of it, to be honest with you.
I agree, Glenda.
Yeah,
I
I can
think-
see.
I
sorry,
agree.
promoting like clean your backyard if you're staying at home, you know,
Yes.
it could be done, clean the little ditch in front of your place, you know, there's still lots of people could feel very outside and active and participating, but staying on their turf.
Yes, that I agree totally with. Yeah,
I'll pass
clean
that
your own
information
backyard.
on.
Clean up your own backyard, yeah. That'd be great.
I'll pass that along to the individual and see if we can maybe postpone their events planning for a bit.
Okay,
Thanks, Kim.
appreciate that.
And
Edie,
there's called a Bob Conroy walk that they happen in, and that's at the end of May.
Yes.
So we might be out of lockdown by then, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you mean we'll be back in lockdown from state of emergency?
Yeah, exactly.
No
Any
negative
other
waves,
concern?
Dale, please.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
negative waves. We're trying to think
Uh,
Any other
positive.
concerns there for tonight?
Yes, I did receive a couple of phone calls about River Road. The west end of it is pretty treacherous. And that was from people in horse and buggies and vehicles. So I was just wondering if Kim could mention that to
They are
shop or
working on
something.
it.
I will
Yeah.
do that. I know that they have been there this week working on
Yeah.
that end.
Perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah, I saw Jacques going there 2 days ago, or yesterday, I should say.
Thank you.
They've been there a couple days, trying to fix it, but oh man.
It's
it is
difficult because
nasty.
that whole area basically is shaded. So, you know,
Yeah.
it really
Well,
makes a mess. Yeah,
A couple days ago, the frost came out of a lot of side roads, so
yes.
Mhm.
the crew has more than they can handle right now, but I see they're addressing it. I went out
Yep.
Birch Lake area and I see that they filled some areas there, but we just have to slow down and keep in mind
Yes.
what time of year we're at, so
Yes.
should be all fine.
It's still early.
Okay.
Well, it is early, but
Mhm.
and I find we're a little deceived because of the early departure of the snow. But
Exactly.
the frost has been coming out, like Dale said, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of back roads with issues. It's deceiving.
Because if you start driving down the Cross Lake Road this week, there's holes in there a foot deep there, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other concerns, anybody?
Nope.
None for me.
No. No, that's
Okay,
it for me.
Be it resolved that the time is 7:15 PM and this meeting be adjourned until the next regular meeting of the call of the chair. A mover and a
Take
seconder.
that motion.
I'll second.
Kevin, for or against?
I'm for.
Edith,
4,
Pat,
Pat in favor?
Glenda,
In favor.
Cheryl,
In favor?
Dale,
In favor.
and I'm in favor. Motion carried. Thank you.
Good
And
night,
be
everyone.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone. Stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.